Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to RSL Legends. I hope you're all doing well. If you guys are going to ask about the sunglasses, I'll tell you in just a second. Today, we're going to have a look on your optimal way on how to handle your gear, how to sell your gear and accessories. What I do, especially when I do a takeover, this is going to be like part of a takeover. I'm not going to do the whole thing in the video. Just going to show you on what thinking process I follow to do this. I don't automate everything when I do that, but I do use some tools to help me out, and that's going to be part of today's video. Also, since Hell Hades put up a new feature on the optimizer, I'm going to show you how that works a little bit and talk a little bit about it before you go ahead and use just that maybe for your journey in Raid Shadow Legends. So, sunglasses, why am I wearing them? Not because I look cool, because I do look cool. Will admit it. Just being honest, guys. No, I just have an eye infection, guys. Hopefully it goes away. If not, I might need surgery. That kind of sucks, but we'll see. Hopefully everything goes well. So, what am I doing today? This account, it's just gonna be like a normal cleanse takeover. What does that entail? It entails going through all of the gear, including the mailbox, and deciding which pieces to sell and which not. Before we had, the tools like RSL Helper and the HH optimizer now, I would go basically here and just go one by one on every single item and start selling that. That was excruciating, and especially now with the increased capacity on artifacts. Remember, guys, we didn't always have 1,500 as the limit. We used to have, I believe it was 600 or 700, and they slowly were increasing it since I started playing all the way to the number that we have today, just because of also all the sets that we've been having. So with each set that they add into the game, it's very easy to start keeping at least 20-25 pieces of just that set, because, well, you need it. The same thing goes for accessories. Okay, so I'll go about just going through every single one of the items here and just doing the gear cleanse like that. It does take a lot of time, and it's very, very time consuming. I would usually have like something playing on the background, maybe a podcast or something, and I would do that as part of, let's say, a gear cleanse for somebody or a gear cleanse for myself. If I was not recording it, it just takes so long that that's why I usually kept it, until I got maximum plus all the mailbox stuff. And that's what other people do. That's what this guy had for his account. The way I go about having a look at each player's account when I do like a takeover such as this one is, okay, I see, all right, what does this account really need in terms of progression? What kind of champions does it have? It's got good legendaries. Legendaries do not dictate on how strong your account is, but if I have a look on the gear that some of your champions are equipped, I get an idea of what is possible for your account, what you've been striving for in terms of stats. So this account is not even end game. He's trying to reach the late game. If I see your damage dealers not having higher than 200% crit damage, barely having 227 as you see here, I get an understanding of, okay, if your damage dealers have all this issue with getting, crit damage, even a broken set in terms of crit damage with the crit rate on the substat for the gloves, a good example to follow, is it will be beneficial. You're not just keeping sets only, you're keeping anything that could be potentially rolled well for the account. Then I have a look at the supports, depending on what kind of supports you're usually going to be running, like who's your fastest one. I'll check usually the Arbiter. You see here 250 speed, very, very low on Arbiter. I don't really go on every single one of the champions to have a look at it, but I get an idea of what is possible on the account. So we're looking at somebody who will even need the 6-star, 6-star life set with the speed substat that might potentially give him the speed edge. That's not end game by any means, not even late game, I'm gonna be honest, in terms of going for the maximum speed possible. Maximum speed possible, speed set, divine speed set, protection gear also is very useful in order to get that, and perception gear as well, because that also gives you some speed plus accuracy. So you would follow that kind of route. So that is my thinking for an end game account. For this kind of account, we're looking at speed that can come from multiple different sources. But then again, I should not be keeping wasteful gear which is wasteful in the sense of, okay, I'll get the silver and then I'll be upgrading stuff, you'll be going down on your silver immediately. This guy has 14 million on his account in terms of silver, plus a lot of gear in the inventory, which I'll go through that as well. So there is a lot of potential there, but I will try to keep an even balance of everything. And that also makes it, you know, a longer procedure. I could have just easily sold everything and then call it a day, but I want to make this guy's life, for in terms of the takeaway, easier, and also give him like a guidance. Okay, these items are being kept because they could potentially give you an edge for the future of the account, and that usually is the goal. Plus, I'm guessing this account will finish at about the 800 items mark. I have no idea what kind of items this guy keeps, but that's where I think he's gonna go. Very easy way for you guys to start with a cleanse would be, okay, are you guys even keeping 4-star gear? Please stop doing that. If you're somebody who's been playing the game for about a month, you shouldn't be keeping 4-star gear. It's absolute waste. Why are you doing this? This guy is probably doing it by mistake with farming campaign and not selling these automatically. Plus, this gear might have been just happened, so I give him that pass. But do not keep 4-star gear. It's absolutely worthless. And you'll reach a point where even 5-star gear will be absolutely sold, no doubt about it, unless it's a very, very specific set that you need to complete and you're looking for maybe legendary or mythic. Okay, I'm talking about the end game people. Then we go about the same kind of rule for the accessories. That's the easiest rule to follow if you want to get started. If you're somebody who wants to try and use different tools, let's go over the different tools available right now to us, instead of just going through the filtering system, which is something that is not that helpful, I will admit, because you need to go through multiple different rules and going through, okay, primary gloves, and then having a low, what do I have here? There's no way to really do that fast. It will take you long time. And if you're playing on PC, the best way about going with this is using two different tools, the rate optimizer and the RSL Helper. Rate optimizer helps with a lot of things. RSL Helper helps with a lot of different things. I use both. I can't imagine playing raid without both. So let's get started. I'll show you guys the new optimizer and how that works and give you guys my thoughts on it. So Hades already put out a video. You can watch his video. He posted it 3 days ago on the new optimizer feature, which is basically automatically choosing and selling stuff for you. That is not what you should be doing, in my opinion, even if you are somebody who's brand new. This is the page that you'll see. Once you load up the optimizer, this is the page that you'll see, which is basically your account. If you click on artifacts, you click on champions, you see your champions. Click on artifacts, you see your artifacts. You click on not equipped gear, because that's what you want to be selling. Obviously, you don't want to go through your equipped gear. I don't think it works that way. I'm not going to try it, because it also costs silver to do that right now. When there's free gear removal, maybe that is the time to do it. Anyway, continuing on. The easiest way to use this tool would be not equipped, and then go with the possible artifact potential. So even if it fully roll, what is the artifact potential here? You go about choosing bin items. Okay, so the bin is the value that the HH team puts on some pieces of gear. I'll give you guys an example. This has a flat stat on the top with some different stats on the bottom. No speed, 5-star pieces. I totally agree with this. These are absolutely worthless pieces of gear, even from the new supersonic set at the bottom. Okay, totally agree with this, and I would say go with it. So very weak is the next category. Very weak. What do I consider very weak? Will I agree with this one? The attack set here, speed on the substat, HP percent, and attack percent on the gloves. Totally agree with this. I 100% would have sold these. I see lots of flat stats here on the top. I do agree with this, and I would probably sell everything here. This is one or two pieces that I might have not sold on accounts that had weak cold hearts. So this is a 5-star legendary critical rate set, giving you crit damage and crit rate. These two items here could potentially be useful for a cold heart. So you could say, okay, let's level these up to level 8. Cold heart doesn't really need the stats from the chest piece. in order to get her stats to where you need to. And as you saw, the account really has trouble reaching crit rate and crit damage thresholds that get you to the late game. So these are potential items that I could choose in terms of keeping. Okay, everything else pretty much seems on the side of, yeah, I would sell these, and these are worth selling. Okay, by the way, I should probably do only do the gear, and I'll do the accessories separately. I don't need to do that also for the video, but to get you guys an idea, this is how this looks for this one. The weak category, pretty much the same thing. And in terms of choices, some are percentages, which I agree with. And then you go with even the average category. So what does the average category look? Let's say for the gloves, crit damage gloves. Okay, no crit rate on the substat. Totally agree with this. So if I selected everything here on the potential, this selects 284 items of this guy's inventory to start selling. So how would this look for the account in terms of selling it? I would jump up to the page here, to the sell page, click on sell, and then on the browser, let me just do this. This is quicker. I would click sell mode, add all, sell list, sell all. And then all of these items, each and every one from that list is now selected here. 284 items selected, and pretty much would clear a good chunk of it, but not enough. In my opinion, not enough, because if I click on some more of these items, this is a speed set without a speed substat. This is another speed set without speed substat, but does have a little bit of potential, even as a 5-star piece with crit rate and crit damage. Again, you don't want to be keeping everything because it just makes it too confusing. And that's why I said I want to limit his gear to about 800 pieces. I'm not being strict on that number. I'm just saying he has lots of room to grow with the account. So 285 pieces here with just doing that. You can do then individual, let's say, does that artifact have flat stats here, and then use this as a way to select the gear pieces that you want to sell. In my opinion, this optimizer feature is really good for doing this, a big sell off of your worst pieces of gear, especially if you're somebody who's never done a cleanse. You can do this as a way to just close your eyes and say goodbye to the pieces of gear and just sell everything. But what I do recommend in doing, once you get the hang of understanding some of the things that you need to do to follow through when you buy and sell, when you sell an item, you don't buy them in this game. Well, you do buy them actually through packs, but you need to understand on the gear, the different gear requirements that your champions have. You want to be using RSL Helper. Okay, I find this feature good for the newer players, maybe even the mid-game players, not so much for everybody else. This won't show you much for your end game account by any means, unless you click on the higher potential here, and then you start going through each and every one of them and having a look before you actually click on the sell button. Because here you can click on this and it's going to remove it from the sell bin, and it removes it for here. So 285, and you remove it that way. Okay, I would personally avoid this for my account, just giving you guys an idea. So let's exit here with the filters as well. Let me show you how RSL Helper works. If you guys know the tool already, you guys understand on how it can potentially benefit your account. Let me see. Okay, so this is the full screen of the RSL Helper and how this would look. Let's say if you click on the artifact section, this is quite insane if you look at it, but this is not what you're going to be looking basically with the RSL Helper. What you want to be looking here is going through the sell settings for your account. So what do the sell settings do to your account? These are the sell settings that look like for this account right now. He does not have any sell settings. What you can do here is slowly but surely start introducing rules for yourself as general rules. Okay, I want to be selling items with, you know, flat stat on the top, which is this one. If it's on the main stat here, or gloves, chest, and boots, I want to sell everything. So you click on sell all rarities. I do not care about that. And even if it's level 16, 0 to 3, you can choose the levels of items that you want to be doing. And then you click on add rule here. So what this does is basically it's going to have this rule as a beginning for what I've just mentioned, for the rules of selling items. You can do that for higher levels. You can go way in depth with this one and choose specific sets, specific slots for the artifacts. You can go about with doing that. This can take you hours to do, hours upon hours to do the perfect sell list. I know 99% of you guys do not have this time, but the small 1% sometimes even shares these sell files. So what am I talking about, guys? So these sell files that I'm mentioning are files that have all of these rules set by somebody who considers themselves a more knowledgeable person in the community. They share it with somebody else and they add these rules for everybody to just follow them. So you would download that file and then you click on load setup. So what I've done now, guys, is I've loaded a file that a member of the community over on the Farm Stuff Discord has created, a small sell file for items ranged from level 0 to 3. So items that are not leveled up. Made all of these rules as a way to basically decide which items to keep or sell, and use this as a more late game or end game way of going through gear pieces. I will not use this right now to sell everything. I'm just going to use it as a way to show you on how this would go about selecting everything and choosing what to keep for the account that you're just seeing right now. So we're looking at the optimizer again. Let me just close this. Okay, we're seeing all the items here. We click on auto sell check. So this basically follows all the rules, and the small numbers that you see below each item is each rule set up by that person who made the sell file. Each rule that this sell file will follow in order to sell everything. And as you see, it has selected a lot of items. So if I click on add all to queue, that's 585 items possibly chosen today for being sold. And if I click here in the game, click on sell, and I click on add selected to the sell list from right here, RSL Helper will now start selecting one by one. It's relatively much slower than the optimizer tool in terms of selecting it, but I mean, you do get it. You see now it's working on its own. It's not doing anything. It's selecting each item based on that sell list, and it's going to go through each item in order to now decide, okay, these are the rules we're going through. We're going to be selecting everything. It should stop at that mark of 585. If that is correct and it agrees with the game, it means it has selected everything. This is where I completely love using RSL Helper in terms of doing gear cleanses. This is a very important tool, I would say, for everybody to understand, but I will not strictly follow this. Let's say if I wanted to sell everything, I will not strictly follow these rules for my own cleanse. I would probably go for this takeover after I use the tool with whatever rules I choose to follow. I'll go and check before I even click the sell button, check basically each section here, because you can actually limit it by separating it by types. So see, these are all the sets that it's going to go through and possibly sell. As you can see here, it's going to be selling some items, keeping some other items. 585 is the number here. 549 is the number here. Something was not selected. I'm kind of fine with that because it's only a few of them that is different. Maybe I messed up something when I clicked on the button, but I'm totally fine with this one. Some of these ones were not even selected, like the life set and offense set. So that might be it, because I see them here, but I don't see them within the game. I don't care so much to go about and doing it again. You can actually do the whole procedure again. You click cancel, and then you click on add selected to sell file again. But let's say I go through the first set here, which is the most important one for this account. I would say the speed set is really important. What you want to consider is, okay, do I just strictly sell everything? Well, no. There's some things you want to consider, such as the crit damage gloves here. Although they don't have a crit rate substat, this could potentially roll on the third roll with just a small amount of crit rate and be something that this guy can use in the future. It's a long shot, but it is there and it's possible. Level 12 does not cost you that much, and it's going to benefit the account. So what I would do is, you see the yellow tint right there? If you click on here, it deselects the item, and it also should deselect it from here as well. So not sure if it actually did it. Sometimes it bugs out, so that's why I have to double check. Did it actually do it or not? Yeah, these are the gloves. It didn't. I don't think it did it. Sometimes it bugs out. That's why I want to be double checking it. So if I click on here, it clicks it. Yeah. So if I click on here again, it unclicks it. There we go. Okay. It definitely worked. But sometimes you have to do it before you even click the add selected items to the sell list. Once you do that, once you go through every single one of these items that you could potentially see as worth keeping, then that is the way to go, honestly, in my opinion. So this guy, look at this. I've already caught some bad rules, such as this one. 167, it says crit damage, crit rate on this weapon. I don't want it. On a crit damage set? Come on, are you serious? This item is perfect for a person such as this one in order to keep it. So I would definitely not sell it. Even this item right here with the crit damage on a crit damage set, come on. So these are the small things that you want to consider in order to further understand on how to go about using the sell rules. You shouldn't follow the sell files blindly if you want to learn more about the game. If you're somebody who's just doesn't have the time to do it, you're totally free to do that. But for myself, each and every piece that I keep or sell, I consider energy spent. Energy spent equals money and time. So I want to be careful when I'm selling my items. I don't want to be too careful, because then you end up in a situation where you keep everything and you never sell anything. It just piles up on and on and on. But some pieces are definitely worth keeping, such as the crit damage Savage set here with the crit damage on the primary. This guy, again, has a bad account in terms of gear. The gear potential he has is, he needs a lot more gear than what he has in order to improve. So he has to keep some of the really bad pieces. I wouldn't keep this personally for myself, but this guy, because I'm doing like a takeover, I will be keeping this crit damage glove. So I would go about each and every set, consider the opportunities that this guy might have with this piece, even if it's a bad piece. Look at this, it's a toxic set. You don't put toxic set on damage dealers, but crit damage, crit rate, 6-star epic, this could potentially roll at a 25% crit rate if it triple rolls on the crit rate, or 25% crit damage if it triple rolls on the crit damage. Same thing goes for the crit rate on the primary stat. That can potentially be good for some situations. So I have to consider where this account is standing. The cruel set is something that you farm every single day through the clown boss. So some of these pieces are going to be worth to keep. Like the crit damage helmet here. You see with the crit damage roll and the speed on the substat, that could potentially be good. It's a helmet. It can roll well. It could be beneficial. This one as well. Crit rate, speed. I mean, come on. I would have to go about basically this rule, 167, and have a look at that rule and see, okay, what is wrong with it? Why is it selling all of these items? I could go very easily to the sell settings page, find rule 167, see what that rule is and why it's selling everything. It's basically the last rule, and it says just sell everything. So it's falling up to there. So what I could do is just add a rule on top of that, saying if it has crit rate and speed on the substand for a cruel set, please keep it. If it has crit damage, crit rate on the substand, please keep it. If it has on the crit damage set, something like that, please keep it, because there is potential for the account. So these rules can be tricky, but they do help you with more in-depth cleansing of gear. And that's what I wanted to show you guys today with the video. I could talk about this for hours, going through each and every single one of the sets, but these are very basic rules that most people who strive towards building a late game account should follow. End game players don't even care about watching these videos because they've probably been playing for a long time to reach that late game situation, or they've just been paying people to do takeovers, cleanse takeovers for them. So another big thing that you want to consider, guys, when you are doing a cleanse, before you do a cleanse, is also items that could have a good potential of being good, such as the speed set here. This is not a great speed set. It's solid, but it's a legendary speed set. And we have this, the Chaos Ores. This guy has Chaos Ores that he can use to potentially get a triple roll. If this rolls on a triple on whatever stat, you Chaos Ore it, and then you, fingers crossed, hope for the best. You might actually get what you're looking for. But if not, well, you go for the next item. And that's how Chaos Ores are used. For my main account, I use Chaos Ores basically on Merciless gear for the most part, because it's very difficult for me to get an upgrade from speed gear. It has to be a quad roll for me to get an upgrade. Or, well, I could use more triple rolls, obviously, but I want this new set equipped on my big damage dealers because of the 35% ignore defense. So if I can, I will be using the Chaos Ores here, even if it's a subpar, even if it's sometimes like a 2 double rolled item, I might use it, especially if I'm keeping 5-star gear, which I keep more 5-star gear than anywhere with this set, because it's just such a strong set that you need 9 pieces of. The potential of doing the full 9-piece set just trumps the whole idea of just keeping the very, very best for me, because I just want to get the 9-piece bonus if I can on a champion. So that was it, guys, for today. I hope this was a little bit helpful. It is way more confusing if you go in depth with RSL Helper and all these rules, but it is a way for you guys to get an idea on how important gear is. Because if you need to put so much time into what gear to keep and sell, it just shows on how important gear is. It's more important than the champions nowadays. More important, because you can do a huge mix and match of champions and do the content in the game. But without the right gear, you lost half the battle already. And if you lost half the battle, it's way easier to lose the battle. So that was it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully soon I won't be wearing these sunglasses. But maybe it catches on. Maybe I don't need to stop wearing them. I don't know. We'll see on the comments. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.